Hello. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go over a LeetCode problem. Started doing medium LeetCode problems a few days ago, and I'm going to keep doing them. Like I was saying in a couple of past videos that I had, um, if you're like looking for a job and doing technical interviews, LeetCode is a really good resource for that. And a lot of people hit me up with like, well, I can't do medium or hard problems and I have trouble doing the easy problems. Well, that's normal. So just keep practicing easy problems and then work your way up to medium problems. Usually if you go on like a job interview for like a software engineer position, they're going to ask you probably something around a medium problem. And I don't really never see them asking like, because a hard problem might take you a few hours to code even if you're pretty good at it. So this is another good medium problem. This is repeated DNA sequences. And this one has some good stuff to offer in terms of there are a couple of different ways to code it out. So let's just go over it real quick. All DNA composes a series of nucleotides. This doesn't really mean anything. Basically, what you're looking at is this is a string that's passed in, and it wants to have the output should be an array of all the 10 character sequences that do repeat. So if you look right here, AAA, CCC, so it repeats, it's here and then it repeats here. So this would go into our output array. And then C and A right here, here it is present, and then here it repeats. That should be put in here. Just that it repeats. You don't have to put both of the sequences in there. You just have to put that it repeats. And then this doesn't repeat over here, so you don't put that in. So it's a pretty simple problem, but there are a couple of different ways to solve it. I'll do it in two different ways, and we'll compare the time of each. You do want it to have a time complexity as quick as you can get, usually something in O of n, without adding a bunch of space complexity to it as well. So you don't want to add, if you can, you don't want to add more than you need in terms of data structures to handle this. So enough talking, let's get to it. So let's copy this sequence right here. This will be our test case. So here we go. And they call it S here, but I hate that name, so we'll just call it str. So that's going to be our str that we're going to use, const. Cool. So let's, this is going to be using an object to solve it. So let's go const DNA, that's what we'll call our method. And it will just take in an str, so take in a string. Okay, so the first thing, the way that I'm going to go about solving this is I'm going to create an array and I'm going to create an object. Then I'm going to loop through the string that's given, and I'll slice off bits of that string and see if it's present within our sequence object, or our scene object is what we're going to call it. If it's not there, then we'll add it there. Okay, so let's go like this. Let's go const res. This is going to be our results array that we're going to push everything through, push everything to, and then we'll go const scene. It's going to equal an empty object. So let's do it like this. Let's just do an old school for loop. For let I equals 0. I while I plus 9 is less than str.length I plus plus. So this I plus 9 is less than str.length. So this will basically end our I 9 spots short of the end to where we can have the last 10-digit number here. We don't want I to go all the way to the end, for example, because it would just be a bunch of null values. The rest of them would be null values. So this stops our 9 from going. So it stops our I from going further than it needs to. So right here, let's go let, because this is going to be within our loop. Let's go let sequence equal str.slice I at I plus 10. Now, let's take a look at this in Node real quick. So, Node, and let's go let str equal, and it'll just be a str of 9 characters, 9 numbers. So, what we can do, if we go str.slice from 0 to 5, what do we get? We get the 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we went to 5 here, so 5 is not included here. See how we get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we don't get the fifth element, which would be that 6. So this means it's not inclusive. So that's why we added I and I plus 10 right here, because we really want I to start at I and get the next 9 characters right there. So that's what that's about. So a shortcut for, so this object right here, we need to populate it each time that we go through the array. So we'll go scene at sequence. Scene at sequence equals scene at sequence plus 1 or 1. What this means is in our scene object, if there's a key that matches this sequence, we're gonna add 1 to that if it's present. If it's not present, we're just going to initialize it at 1 basically. So that's like a little shortcut for that. So if scene at sequence is equal to 2, so if we have a key in our object, if we have a key of sequence and its value is equal to 2, then what do we want to do? We just want to push it into that res.push, and we want to push in the sequence, right? So then we'll just return res. And let's look at our case here. It should return A, C, and CA. That should be what it returns. So let's console log right here. DNA with the str passed in that we defined on line 7. And let's go to node and let's run it. Let's get out of this. And let's go node. What was that called? DNA sequence. And boom, that's what we get. So let's put this in LeetCode and see if this code works. Apple C. Go over here. Apple V. Let's run code. Runtime error. Solution.js. What the hell? Why did that not work? Hang on, let me refresh this. Alright, now let's run it, see what happens. Come on, work. Let's take a look here. str is not defined. Oh, that's because here they called it s. I changed it to str. So let's run it again. Okay, cool, it works, so let's submit it. Okay, cool. So this is faster than 41% of JavaScript solutions, has less than 50% of, okay, so we could do better than that. So now let's solve it another way using sets. So this is using an object as our data structure that we're going to store things in and compare things to. Now let's do it down here using sets. And if you haven't used sets, they're actually quite cool. So using sets. So what a set is it basically it's very similar to an array, but it can't have any repeating characters in it. So if I go into node right here, and let's just say that I have let str equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. If I go let test set equal new set, and I pass in that string, what it'll give me back is this 1, 2, 3, 4. It only gives me back the unique characters. It doesn't give me back any duplicates, and we can work like that. So that's a way to get rid of duplicates and do different things that you want to manipulate. So this should make it faster. So let's go const DNA again. Const DNA, it's going to take in that string. And then up top, let's go ahead and make 2 different sets here. So we'll go past, or we'll go, what can we call this? We'll call this past sequences. Past sequence equals new set. And then we'll let res, which is going to be our result, equal a new set. And we'll do some stuff here. So we'll go let, and this for loop, I'm going to do it different than I did. So with this for loop, I did I plus 9 less than str.length, and there's another way you can do it, and I'll do it like that in this one. So let I equal 0, let I equal 0, and then we'll do I less than or equal to r.length, not array, r. or str.length minus 10. So this does basically the same thing, I++. So once we have that, now let's we'll go let comparable. And this is what we're going to compare to our past sequences. Equal str dot substring I plus 10. Okay, so what substring does is, let's take a look at it. So if you have so we have the str still, right? So if we go str.substring from 0 to 3, 0, 1, 2, see how it, in the same way, we have 0, 1, 2, 3 is non-inclusive on this. So in the same way, we can go, this is basically the same thing that we were doing earlier. We'll go from where I starts plus the next 9 numbers, because the 10 is non-inclusive right here. Cool, cool. So then we'll go past sequence dot, and dot has is a way that you can look through a set and see if a number is included in there. It would be kind of like the dot includes method on a JavaScript array. So dot has comparable. So if comparable is in the past sequence, and we'll use a ternary statement here, if comparable is in the past sequence, if it's already there, then we want to add to our results. Dot add is another set function. Dot add comparable to result. Otherwise, we want to add it to past sequence. Dot add comparable, right? So then, so we have, in this res, what we have is we have all the data that we want. We have all the repeating characters. So right now, let's just see if this will work. Let's console.log res right here, just to see what we're working with. So let's get rid of that. And let's go node DNA. Okay, so you see it has the set with the right answer in it. I'm getting this undefined here because I'm using a console log, 2 console logs basically. I'm using a console log within the function body and then one when I call the function, so it'll have it undefined. But that's no problem. So we have the right output of AAA, CCC, CCC, AAA, but it's in a set and not an array. So a quick way to, and you use this a lot in things like React and things like that, is like you can destructure the set into an array. So we can just return, and this is how you do destructuring, put an array bracket, dot, 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 and we'll do res right here, and then that will return the array with CCCAA. So let's try this result out. Let's try this one out. Go back to LeetCode. So our last answer was 116 ms, 41.94% faster than online submissions. So let's try this one. Run code, it works, so let's submit it. So this one's faster than 81%, and it uses less than 100% of online solutions. So that's a better answer. So using sets is actually saves quite a bit of storage, and also using this destructuring to where we don't have to define an array up here initially and then push to that array or do some kind of janky method like that. Okay, so that was the LeetCode DNA sequence thing. It's a medium problem. This might be something that you see on a job interview. So just practice it, get familiar with it, and I'm going to be doing a lot more of these, especially that I'm on lockdown now. So stay tuned for all that. Okay, cool. You guys take it easy. Have a good day. Bye-bye.